Are we rolling? Yes, we are rolling. Hi guys, Kathy Sue here. It's been a pretty crazy week for me. Saw 5 rainbows, a wedding, a funeral, and a shooting star. So it's been pretty crazy, as you can imagine. My Aunt Sue was getting married. Oh, this is story time with Kathy Sue. It's story time. Everybody pull up a blanket, drink some chocolate and some coffee, and maybe some apple juice. I would love to be sponsored by an apple juice company. That would be amazing, not gonna lie. So, you didn't see anything. So I was going home to Wisconsin for my aunt's wedding. My Aunt Sue was getting married. It's very exciting. And as I was packing to get ready to go home for the wedding, I got a call from my dad, and he said that my grandma had 1 day left to live. And that was on Thursday, a week ago, right now, actually, when I'm filming this. So that being said, you know, when someone's given 1 day left to live, you pack a little bit heavier of a suitcase. So I did, and I took it one step at a time, and thankfully Charlie from Creature Tubes was with me, so I was very lucky to have someone nearby that I could talk to immediately about it and let out how I was feeling. The initial finding out about it was a little bit of just whew. So I got on the airplane, and as I got on the airplane, I was fearing that when I got off, that's when they would say that she had already passed. I immediately, before I even got on the airplane, I called my mom and I said, "Mom, I want to go up and see her tonight." Where she was about 5 hours from my home in Wisconsin. So as soon as I landed in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, my mom let me borrow her car, thankfully. It was a beautiful Chrysler 200. And I drove straight through the night to Eau Claire, Wisconsin, which is about 4 hours from me. I had to pull over quite a few times and sleep because I hadn't slept. And the night before in LA, I hadn't slept much because I was packing for the trip and, finishing up everything you have to finish up before a trip. Anyways, so I got in the car and I drove, and I got to my grandma's side at about 9:30 in the morning. My uncle was there, and he had to go and deal with some things, so I sat with my grandmother for about 3 hours, and I held her hand, and I read to her, and I put chapstick on her lips, and I brushed her hair, and she had 4 boys, so 4 boys, they don't remember that girly stuff. She was asleep while I was there. When I was 10 years old, she was in a coma. She had been in a coma for 3 weeks, and I'm a 10-year-old girl, and I go to sit with my grandma. My grandma and I have always had a weird, strong bond. I feel like a lot of who I am came from her, mainly her strength and her perseverance. But when I was 10 years old and she was in a coma, I sat by her side and I was reading to her. It turns out it was a romance novel, but I didn't know that when I was that age. I just saw one of Grandma's books by her bed, so I was like, I should read it to her, because even if she's in a coma, maybe she can hear me. But as I was reading this romance novel to her, she opened her eyes, and she looked at me and she said, "Hello, sweetheart." And I freaked out. I just completely freaked out, and I ran out of the hospital room and I said, "Dad, Grandma's awake! Grandma's awake!" And that was when I was 10. Now I'm 26. So I, as well as the rest of the family, have, faced the possibility of losing her for a very long time. She's a very strong woman. She used to tell me the most amazing stories when I was little. Maybe I'll share some of those with you guys at a later date. But I'm holding her hand, and I started to fall asleep. And my dad showed up, and it's my dad's mom. And I hugged him, and we both cried a little. And we both sat by her bedside and talked to her, and I ended up changing her diaper, which is the craziest feeling. You do what you have to do for the people that you love. It doesn't matter what it is. Because she was very peaceful And when I left her side, I squeezed her hand and I told her my mom loves her and my brothers love her and everybody loves her very, very much. And I got in my car, my mom's car, and started to head back to Milwaukee because I had to prep for the wedding, which was the next day. When I left, she was alive but asleep. About 45 minutes later, I stopped at a gas station. Like I didn't need to stop. I had plenty of gas, but I just stopped. And I had only been on the road for 45 minutes. I didn't have to pee or anything. I just stopped. And I sat on a curb and I just was looking at the sky. And then my phone rang. And I answered, and it was my little brother. And he told me that she had just passed. 45 minutes after I had left her side. So I let that all sink in, and I drove home. Thankfully, I had, about 3 hours of driving of just me alone, just getting to process everything and feel everything that I was feeling. So it was very healthy for me to be alone in that moment. So, I've been kind of running around alone for the past 10 years, so I have started to find that processing things alone is a healthy thing for me. So I got home back to Milwaukee and had to shift gears emotionally, mentally, physically. Talk to everyone in the family for a little bit and then get ready for the wedding. So the next morning, Saturday morning, I wake up and my mom and I go and pick up my Aunt Sue and we pick up these flowers and we do all the girl stuff of getting her ready and, you should wear this, you should wear this, and all the girl stuff, and we head off to the wedding. And on the way to the wedding, it starts pouring rain. Let me tell you, on the way to and from Eau Claire to see my grandma, it poured rain the entire time. Not the entire time, on and off, just and then nothing, and then nothing I can't see, oh my God, someone help me. It was a lot. So on the way to the wedding, it starts pouring, and we're like, oh my God. Thankfully, both of my brothers and all of my cousins were already at where the wedding was going to be held, which is my new uncle's house right on the lake. It's beautiful. So we get there and everyone's already cleaned up and the rain stops and everyone's cleaned up all the chairs and everything's perfect. And a few minutes before the wedding, I'm taping the the runner to the altar, and I'm wearing a dress, a little dress. And I just bent down, and the whole both sides of the family are already in their seats. It's literally moments before the bride walks down the aisle. I flashed both sides of the family, my whole butt. The entire butt. Everybody saw it. Oh, God. I hear, Kathy Sue! Kathy Sue! Oh, my God. Oh, my goodness. So that was funny. That was good times. Everybody likes a good butt right before the wedding. Oh, my God. So then the wedding happened, and it was perfect, and it was beautiful, and my aunt was beautiful, and my new uncle was handsome, and everyone was happy and joyous, and... Oh, I forgot to say this. Oh, I'm not even to that part yet. Hold on a second, Kathy Sue's brain. Slow down. So after the wedding, it was great. I got to spend a lot of time with my family, and we're singing and dancing and laughing and taking pictures, and I was the wedding photographer as well, so I took photographs that will probably be up on Facebook in a little bit, in a couple days, a little bit. After the wedding, everyone in my whole mom's side of the family is standing on the edge of the lake. There's a double rainbow. Just this beautiful, perfect double rainbow. It was perfect. And we went back home, and we decided that the funeral, or I guess my dad and his brothers decided the funeral would be on Tuesday. So the next morning we headed up to Eau Claire to spend the next couple of days with my dad's side of the family, some of which I hadn't seen in 20 years. And I'm standing outside, and my cousin shows up that I literally haven't seen since I was probably 7 or 8 years old, almost 20 years. Actually, probably 16 years, because it was when my grandpa died. And I meet him for the first time, and bam, there's another rainbow. That's 3 rainbows now. 3 rainbows, count them. We talked, and it was really cool. I got to see a lot of family that I haven't seen in almost 2 decades, and talked about what we've been up to, and, so on and so forth as family as well. And then the funeral was on Tuesday. I was very gratefully able to speak at the funeral. And it was hard, but I felt it was very necessary for me to share my perspective on my grandma, because I have this awesome perspective on my grandma. She was a gangster, and she was in a secret society, and she was so tough. She raised 4 boys, lost 2 husbands, survived multiple heart attacks, multiple strokes, both hips broken. This woman was strong, made of steel. And I feel like I got it from her, and I wanted to vocalize how grateful I was for her, as well as she gave me my dad, and my dad really taught me a lot. So we did that. We had the funeral, and then we went to the burial, and she was buried next to her first husband, which is my biological grandfather, who I never got to meet, Grandpa Eldie. But my cousins that are a little bit older than me, who did get to meet my Grandpa Eldie, they were like, Kathy Sue, you and Grandpa Eldie would have been best friends. I believe it. I get along really well with grandparents. I really like grandparents. I just like feel how much they have to teach me, and like how much more of life they have seen than I have. Because if I've seen all this in 26 years, oh my God, they must have seen holy bananas, you know? It's just, wow. I like grandparents. Anyways, then we drove back to Milwaukee, my little brother and I, and it stormed again. And on the way back from the funeral, there was another double rainbow. That's 5 rainbows. 5 rainbows. A double rainbow on the day of the wedding, and a double rainbow on the day of the funeral, and a single, really thick rainbow the day that I met David, my cousin. Well, I didn't meet him the day I, saw him again for the first time. Anyways, 5 rainbows, a wedding, and a funeral. So I had adjusted my flight to come back to LA on Wednesday morning. So Tuesday night when we arrived back in Milwaukee, I sat outside. Because in Milwaukee, really in anywhere that's not LA, you can see stars, which is really amazing. So whenever I leave LA, I spend so much time just looking at the sky, because you don't see that in LA. And it's so beautiful and so amazing. This has been like a super touchy-feely vlog. Sorry guys. Maybe not so much. We do this together. It's just you and I. We do this together. It's fun, right? We have a good time. Anyways, so I'm sitting on my mom's back porch and I'm looking up at the sky and I'm looking at the stars. And I kid you not, I think the words shooting star and I'm like, nobody's out here with me. No one can attest to this. But I saw a shooting star. And I was thinking about all of the perspective that I had gained from dealing with emotionally and with your family and a great new life, a wedding of 2 people that love each other, and the death of someone that I love very much. And being 26 years old, I now, not even being 26 years old, but having experienced what I have experienced in my life, I'm able to look at these things in a different light than I think I've ever been able to look at them in. So I feel like I've been dealing with everything in a very healthy manner. Obviously, I've cried a lot. Obviously, it's been really hard. But the parts that have been hard really haven't been that hard. It's been a matter of just thinking about my grandma and thinking about what she gave me and how I can continue that and how I can build upon what she began. Just everything. Something I've found as I've grown older is that I look back on old perspectives, old habits, and I reevaluate them. Things I've been doing since I was 12, 13 years old, or 16 years old, or, mannerisms that I've held on to, or, cycles I see repeating, they're much easier. Sorry, I gotta stretch. Don't look at my armpits. Don't look at my armpits. So it's a weird thing to do in the middle of that kind of statement, but I'm able to look back on everything with a much more clear perspective. And maybe not much more clear, maybe just different. Maybe when I'm 36, I'll look back on this differently. But as you grow and as you experience new things in life, your perspective changes. I think for me, the core of who you are will always be the same. But things change. People come and go out of your life. There are new beginnings every day. And think we're given double rainbows every day. It's just a matter of seeing them. Anyways, 5 rainbows, a wedding, a funeral, and a shooting star. All in all, I feel very grateful for this past week. And my family is awesome. It was so nice to spend that much time with them. Anyways, I love you so much. Go out there, spread some joy, go and hug someone, go and thank your mama for me because you're pretty awesome. I love you so much. I will talk to you so soon. And I think that there should be some other videos being posted in the next week or so. Also, there's some fun stuff happening on Creature. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. Creature Tubes, go there on the YouTube. My interview is just posted, so it's like, they made Kathy soon. Like, you know me pretty well already. So it's not going to be like really anything new, but maybe it is. So go and watch it and, leave a comment. Catty Sue, you're so weird. Own it. What else? Oh yeah, and I'm going to be live streaming again this Saturday, and I think it's going to be really fun. I think it's going to be like a party love stream, maybe. Maybe not, depending on who decides that they're going to come out the day after the 4th of July. Have a very safe and happy 4th of July, please. If you decide to consume alcohol, please don't drive at all, no matter what, even if you've only had one. You know what? Just don't drive at all, because there are people out there that will make bad decisions and drive after they've been drinking, and you don't even want to be on the road near them, so just don't drive tomorrow. Just stay home or stay at the lake. Yeah, just stay there. And if you're driving a boat, don't drink. Just make good decisions. Please be safe. Be safe with your life. Be safe with your heart. Be safe with your mind. But also be adventurous, because, adventure is really what life is all about. Am I right? Okay, I love you so much. I always end vlogs like 17 times before I actually end them, so we're gonna try if we can do it this time. I love you so much. I'll see you so soon. I love you. Goodbye. Mwah.